I joined Zenika, I was a graphic designer. I studied 6 years of graphic design. I took my bachelor's in graphic design, and it was actually when I was in uni that I was first exposed to like programming or coding of any sorts. So after I graduated, I went back to doing graphic design, but in Singapore it's quite traditional, so it's a lot of print design and stuff, and to me it was not as exciting as what I was doing in uni. Right. So I decided to do a boot camp at General Assembly to learn about web development, and then I applied for Zenika, and now I'm here and I'm working at my client side.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so I do mainly front-end development at Zenika, working with like React. I'm actually only on my first client, so like technically it's my first dev job and my first client in a dev job. And in the client side, we are building a web platform for financial advisors.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
and
good.
it was quite fun because I mean, I didn't expect it to come into the project being like so fresh, in the sense that like they did not have a front end at all. So going in, it was like we had to like decide what we wanted for the front end, and everything was like from scratch.
Cool.
Which was not what I was expecting. Because like going into a dev job, I thought it was like, okay, I have to read other people's code, and since I'm so junior, I would be like just doing minor stuff. Yeah.
Right. So right now you're mostly in charge of the whole front-end work.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a bit of pressure, but I think it's a good environment, like just to learn and see like what I'm capable of and how much more I need to learn. Like they understand that I'm junior, but they still give me a lot of space to do, like be autonomous in whatever I do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
As my understanding, right, you've been a designer before, and this is your second career, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess like you can see it as a second career, but I think on a personal level it was more like progression. Like I went to design, but I did a bit more of like digital side, and then now I'm like moving fully into web development. So I don't really know whether it's like I feel that it's a second career. It's more just a progression.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. It's a good point. So you think design and programming, let's say, they will get along together?
Yeah, I think there's a very interesting place between like where design and like programming can intersect. I mean, especially in front-end development, right? You have like the UX, and you're like trying to combine that with like how you work the programming and the coding. And that was one of the reasons why I was also more like into front-end development rather than like going to the back-end or doing a full stack, because I feel like it's a bit more closer to what I was doing, and like the progression wouldn't be that far off. Yeah.
Does this help your design background to talk with the designers on the project?
Yes, definitely, for sure. So we did have some issues with like some of the UX initially, because like the vision of the product was not fully formed and everything. So the way that the UX was handed to the front end could have been slightly better. And I think like as a designer and having a design background, when I was looking at it, I could give suggestions on how it could have better been handed over to us, or like if there's certain things that I feel that might not necessarily work, or if there's a slightly better way to do it and maybe a faster way to develop it, then I would give suggestions.
All right, but do they listen to you, right?
It's a discussion, right? So like not they did not hire me for like design expertise, but I could just give like opinions and stuff, and they were quite open to it because they know where like my background is like originally from, like in graphic design. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, to find this common language between the designers and the front end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question would be, what is the best piece of career advice you ever gotten?
That it's okay to say no. I think.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
I think, okay, for myself, every time when I first started my design job or when I first started my dev job, I feel like there's always the need to be like the yes man, everything yes, yes, yes. Because like I'm so junior, I should expose myself to like the opportunities. I should not say no to anything, and like you always get to learn something new, right? But there comes to a point where you shouldn't overstretch yourself, and you should be able to say like, okay, no, I need to take a step back. No, my plate is full and everything. So I guess it kind of struck me as like, yeah, right, I can say no, and it doesn't really affect like what people might perceive of me, because if I am saying yes to 3 things but just saying no to 1 thing, it's still good for like my mental helping, my like producing good work, because you need to rest and everything. So I don't think like it's a bad thing anymore. I used to think it was a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
What cool projects are you working on right now?
Outside of work?
Or maybe inside?
Okay, I personally think the project that I'm on at my client side is really exciting for me, because it's a fintech company. So for myself, being in design, I have not touched math for like more than 6 years now. And like being in the finance company, I'm learning about all these finance things, and actually building this tool is quite exciting for me. Like I've not ever had this experience, even in design, when I was say like create something from scratch. The progression of the project didn't feel as real, I guess, as like actually creating something that's like going on a web platform. So I definitely think that the project now is very exciting. But outside of work, I am also helping my friend build like their portfolio websites. It's not very cool or anything, but it's like brings along with it quite a different set of challenges, because at work I'm just like, right, I have to make this apps be able to scale and everything, so I have to think about a lot of like future things. But when I'm doing like a small scale like portfolio for my friend, I had to know where to draw the line, what is like overkill.
What about your portfolio, right? You have your own portfolio website.
Yes.
Have you built it yourself?
Yes. But that was like pure HTML and JavaScript. I built that before joining General Assembly, and I only put up like my General Assembly projects like at the end, but I did not rebuild it. So when I built that, it was when I had no knowledge about React and everything. It was just like self-taught HTML, self-taught JavaScript, and just like, how do I do this, how do I do that, and putting it together.
Yeah, but this one is impressive, yeah.
I guess I try to keep it as simple as possible.
For the person who doesn't know the web development yet. Yeah. I mean, I try to do whatever I could do. Obviously, I don't want it to break when somebody else goes on it. So keeping it simple when I don't know anything is the best. All right. So you want to keep this way, or you want to improve it later on with your experience on hand?
Yes, I definitely want to improve it. I think right now I mean, when I use it on like my mobile phone and everything, I already can see breakages, and I already can see like when I look at my old code, how messy and how terrible my code is. So definitely it's like on the to-do list of like cleaning up, and I feel like if I were to send it out to a potential, if I was going to switch jobs or what, and I send it out and somebody looks at my code base and everything, it's definitely like not a good sign of like, doesn't reflect well on me as a web developer if my code is so messy.
But you keep it open source, right?
Yeah.
Do you do any open source project now, or mostly focus on the work right now?
No, right now I'm just focused on work. If anything I do outside of work, I just try to upskill myself. Because I think, being in this job, there's already like so many things that I don't know about. When I first came in, they're using like Kubernetes in the back end, and like Docker and everything. I'm just like, oh no, what are all these things? And recently picking up on Cypress, I consulted you on some questions about Cypress as well, because they're using that for the end-to-end test. And before this, I did not know what Cypress was, and I never really done a lot of tests because at General Assembly they don't really cover that. So that was something I had to like learn on my own. And
Good. What do you enjoy about working at Zenika overall?
I enjoy the people the most. Right, I've been at Zenika for 5 months. It wasn't really what I expected of a consultancy, because I've heard like a lot of negative things about consultancy sometimes, like how they would just throw you into like the client side, and they don't necessarily like protect you as a consultant, in the sense that if you do anything wrong, they might just like throw you under the bus, that kind of thing. Those were the things that I heard. And what appealed to me about Zenika when I first met Christine was like how the culture at Zenika was about like helping each other, and like, you know, you guys talk about the pillars of like training and everything, and I thought that was a bit different from what I've been hearing. And like coming into Zenika, I was surprised at how much people are willing to help me. Like, we are not even in the same office, I don't even see a lot of you, but I just like Slack anybody and they're just like, they respond straight away with like the help I need. And I think that's like pretty good. When we meet up, it always feels like I already know you and I've been working in the same office as you, but actually like we're not. We're all like in the client side.
Right.
So I think that's the most enjoyable part of Zenika for me. Yeah. And also everyone is like really good at what they do. And I think that's a very good place for me to grow, because like if I need help on like anything in the back end, I just ask somebody. If I need help with the front end, I ask somebody. If I need help with DevOps and anything like concepts and everything. So I think it's a good like space for me to grow as like somebody who's so fresh. In General Assembly, we just touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. So I barely know what's there, so I don't know what I don't know. So it's like nice to see when like I get to see like what people are doing, what like projects they're on, what kind of stack they're using, and that just exposes me again to like a lot of new things. I think that's great.
What does your day-to-day look like?
So at the client side,
work.
Yeah. At the client side, we usually do a stand-up first, and then we would take on a user story and work on it. At the client side, it's quite like autonomous. Really, it depends on how you schedule your own timing to like complete the user story. If there's any like impediments, any blockages, you definitely have to like bring it up yourself. Nobody's going to wait for you to ask them. You have to take the initiative to say, hey, back end, this is not working for front end. Is there something we can do? And then generally like doing coding. That's my day-to-day in general.
So most of the day is the coding part, right?
Yeah, coding and like just trying to like make everything work. Because
do you have a lunch, please?
Yes. Yes, lunch. Oh, sometimes we do. I go back to Zenika for like BBLs, which is called brown bag lunches, right? Yeah.
So the next question: what excites you most about the future of Zenika?
So I know that Zenika is trying to expand and grow its expertise in Singapore, and I think it'll be interesting to see how they manage the culture with like the size of the company. So I feel like right now it's pretty organic, like the culture and everything, but I am quite excited to see them grow and expand and like the kind of new businesses they will have. On a personal level, I'm quite excited to see like what my next project will be as well, like my next mission, because like as I mentioned, like one of the reasons why I joined a consultancy is because I would like to try like different projects. So I'm quite excited about that, as well as the opportunities to like do trainings or do talks. So I already had one talk for React hooks that I did with Drew, led by you. And I don't have that much confidence in like doing trainings or talks because I feel like I'm still really junior. But it's very pleasant coming into like Zenika and everybody's being like, no, it's fine, you can do it. You know? Like everybody's very confident in like what you can do, and they don't pressure you, and they're like, okay, if you feel like now it's not like the best time to do it, maybe like the next time that we do it, you can try it out, or you can like tag along with like a senior or like tag along with somebody else to do a talk. And I think that sort of opportunities are what I'm looking forward to on a personal level at Zenika. Yeah.
Well, it's quite different than, let's say, Singaporean company.
Yeah. That's why I expected it to be a bit more like have hierarchies and stuff like that. So because even like when I'm in design, I was working at like a multi-corporational company, and they try to be like flat culture, but I feel like in Singapore's working environment, it's really hard to like have that sort of like transparency, and even though they tried at the beginning to do it, they always end up like having like some sort of like hierarchy system, and up to now I don't feel it at all at Zenika. I actually really enjoy working with like people from all the different countries rather than like a fully just Singapore company, because I think sometimes it feels like if you work in a Singapore company, people get a bit of tunnel vision. I don't really know if that's the right word, but like when you have like people from different countries coming together, the perspective is always very different, and like the way that we approach different problems is very different because like of cultural differences in the first place. So I really enjoy having that sort of like multicultural kind of like environment to work in. So even at the client side, it's like amongst the devs, there's only me and Chester who are Singaporeans. Everybody else is like from different countries, and I quite like that. Like,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What would you tell someone considering a career in your field?
When I was halfway through General Assembly and I was thinking about my future and I thinking about how what kind of company I wanted to work in, and I had conversations with my friends and classmates, they always talk about like wanting a mentor, and I kind of also like thought about, because I'm so new, maybe it'll be best if I go to a place where it's like where they really focus on like mentoring you first before you go into like any particular job or any, like, actually doing like proper work. But I've come to realize that like there's a difference between having a mentor and having guidance. I feel like if you have a mentor to be there and hold your hand and everything, it might not be the best thing. And I feel like maybe it's like unpopular opinion, but like having a mentor might be a bit overrated, because I feel like sometimes the best way to learn is really to just like dive in head first, you know, and just like if you don't know anything, then you like try to get help. So you're a bit more independent in that sense. Like if you really can't figure something out, then you like seek guidance from somebody who might know something or who is like better equipped at solving the problem. So to anybody who might be like the same as me, like moving from something totally like different to web development, maybe that's something they want to think about, like not to feel like just because they're so new at this that they need somebody to be there like 24/7 for them to mentor them, but more like being independent enough to know when to ask for help and when not to ask for help. Good words. Yeah.
What is your favorite tech?
My favorite tech? React.
What editor are you using?
VS Code.
3 words of Singaporean tech scene.
Small, budding, exciting.
Wonderful, wonderful. That was a lovely interview with Clara. Thank you, Clara.
Thank you.
Boom.
Do you still want to do it?
Let's say go back in times, but the first time you heard about Zenika, right? Do you know, is that a French company or?
Yes, so I went into the website, I saw there was a French company, and I was like thinking, actually a lot of consultancies are all French companies, and I was like, why is this so? But I was also quite surprised when I went onto the Zenika site, because it's comparing to other consultancies, right? Other consultancies, they would put like, oh, these are the clients we work with, and like this is our company and everything. But for Zenika, I was trying to figure out like, when I first heard about it, I was trying to figure out like, are they established? Are they not established? Because I wanted to see like the clients they were working with and everything. But on the website, the main focus was actually on trainings. So that was something that I really remembered about Zenika, because it was like, oh, okay, they are so focused on trainings. Definitely, there's a different kind of experience to working at Zenika, because if they are so focused, if they actually put so much like focus and attention to training, that means like they would have to train their own like consultants, and they have to be a certain level to actually have this kind of training. So that kind of set the tone for like really setting apart like what I felt about Zenika compared to other consultancies.